Hey guys, so I wanted to do another video, and I wanted to kind of talk about, the good stuff, the happy stuff. I feel like my last post was um, very um, depressing and sad and heavy. Heavy is the best word, yeah. And I kind of want to now tell you guys where I'm at now um, since getting sober. So I've been sober since September 15th. And I'm sorry, September 13th. And so it's been a little over 3 years. And how I got to that point was I stayed with my sister's father, who is the guy who raised me, and I stayed in his finished basement. I went to work with him. He has his own business, so I'd go to work with him when he went. I went to sleep when he went to sleep. I ate when he ate. I basically did anything and everything he told me to do. I didn't hang out with anybody. I didn't talk to anyone. None of my friends or anything like that. I had a phone that was restricted, so the only numbers that could contact me and that I could call were the ones that were in the phone that my dad would put in there for me. So it was basically just like my mom, my brothers, my sisters, and that was pretty much it. So I want to make sure I say this. It wasn't like I wasn't allowed to leave. It was, you're not going to get sober unless you really want to get sober. And I really mean that. You can't help someone that doesn't want to help themselves. Plain and simple. I was, um, nothing happened. Like, there was no big event or crisis that happened that drove me to finally hit my bottom and get sober. I think I honestly was just tired. I was so tired of sleeping outside and not knowing where my next meal was going to come from, and you know um, not having any money, or just feeling worthless. And I tried to commit suicide quite a few times, and that wasn't working. And I think I just got tired of it all. And I finally found the will to just stop. And I just took it day by day. Every day I'd just go to work with him, come home, eat, work out a little bit, go to sleep. Every day, same thing. If I wasn't working, I was cleaning the house. I kept busy. Idle hands are the devil. you know um, I truly believe that. And so I I would work with him, and he would put the money aside for me and just save it for me. He didn't make me pay rent, so everything I was making was going into a savings. So I had lost my license around the age of 16, um, over something really stupid. It was a speeding ticket, and I just never paid it. Um, and so much time went by that they ended up taking my license away for it. And, you know, uh, that was also another thing I lost during my addiction. Instead of paying off $100 ticket, I was going to take that $100 and go get a bag instead. Because my girlfriend at the time had a car, so I didn't need a license. I think back and just think, I want to like smack myself. Um, so I, he was saving the money for me. We went to uh, the registry. I got my license reinstated. I bought a car. You know, nothing. Nothing great, but a car. My own car. And when I did that, um, I felt so good, man. I felt so good, like, because I had never had my own car, and I think I was 24 when I got it, and I was just so happy, man. That feeling of accomplishment, uh, which I hadn't felt in so long, so long. I shot heroin for 6 years, and it was the darkest time of my life. I If you had asked me, 4 years ago, if I'd be where I'm at today, I would have laughed at you. When I say I felt worthless, I mean I felt worthless. Um, I didn't think I'd make it past the age of 25. No, I really didn't. Um, I thought either the drugs would kill me or I'd end up killing myself, to be completely honest. So, so I guess I'm making this video to kind of show people, what happens when you just stay sober. Because that's all I did. Literally, that's all I did. I just didn't use. You know, and, I'm sure by the way I'm talking about it, it sounds like it was easy. But make no mistake, it was the hardest thing I ever did in my entire life. It was harder than coming out as transgender, for sure. You know, um, I literally just I don't know. Something finally snapped, and I had enough. And I'm so glad that it did, because it seems like I stopped using right around the same time all this fentanyl and carfentanil and um, uh, all that stuff came around. And, really, thank God that I stopped when I did, because I'm pretty sure if I continued to use and the way that I was, I would definitely be dead. There's no doubt in my mind. Um, so I ended up, I got my license back. I got a car. I started talking to Nicole, my girlfriend. And I remember I had to beg and plead for my dad to put her number in my phone. But he did, He met her. I remember we ended up going to a concert, and I was going all the way to Philadelphia to go to this concert, and it was an anniversary show, and I'm still shocked to this day that he let me go. But I ended up, I went to the show. I think he let me go as a test, And I remember, I came back, and he ended up drug testing me, and I passed. And to someone that hasn't struggled with addiction, that seems like no big deal. But for me, that was one of the biggest accomplishments I have ever experienced. I was so happy. I was so happy peeing into that cup, man, because I knew I was clean, and it felt good. It really felt good. And I think when that happened, I think that was the start of building the trust back. And man, that is really one of the best feelings that I've ever felt in my life. I was never able to pass a drug test. Not ever. So yeah, it felt great. So after that, me and Nicole were dating for a little while, and she got into a situation where she had to move out of her parents' house. So, with my dad being a landlord, I spoke to him, and we decided that I would move in to a place with Nicole, and because she couldn't afford a place on her own. And I was scared. I was really scared to move out because I know myself, and I think I was just really afraid of not having someone watching over me, But my girlfriend is one of the most amazing people I know. One of the best people I know. She's never had an issue with drugs. She's never had an issue with alcohol. She's so sweet, I don't know. A lot of the time I feel like I don't deserve her. But time and time again, she shows me that, I do. And man, I love that girl more than anything in this entire universe. She's my rock, and I'm blessed. I really am. And I guess what I'm trying to say is that if you just stay sober, everything starts to fall into place. And I remember people used to tell me that, and I would be like, yeah, okay. But this was the issue. I was only staying sober for like a month, 2 months. I think the most time I ever got before really getting sober was 6 months I was sober for. And I always had that mentality of, oh, well, I got 6 months sober. I should celebrate by using. Because that makes sense. When you're doing those drugs, you have such a ass backwards mentality. It's like, but yeah, just stay sober, no matter what, don't use, you gotta find other ways to cope with things, and that's one of the hardest parts. When I first got sober, I didn't know what to do with myself, so I just worked all the time. Even now, 3 years later, I'm still trying to figure out things that I like to do and things that I enjoy. I spent so much of my life just doing drugs and doing things around drugs, and once you get clean, it's kind of like you're a kid again, and you gotta like kind of go and try different things and see what you enjoy. I forget what the saying is. I believe it's my worst day sober is still better than my best day using. And that is so true. I have really hard days sometimes. Where just the thought doesn't exit my mind, and I can't shut off, my brain. And times like that, back when I was using, what I would do is I would shut my phone off, hit up my dealer, go get high. I wouldn't tell no one how I was feeling or anything like that. So now, when I get into that kind of state of mind, I let my girlfriend know. I tell my girlfriend. I get in contact with my mom. I let her know what's going on. I contact my dad. I go over to my buddy Jamie's house. I let people know what's going on. That way, I'm not alone. And so that's what I mean by kind of changing up, how you cope with things, So yeah, I just kind of wanted to shed some light. Oh, one of the best things that happened once I got sober was I got chest surgery. Now, obviously being transgender, chest surgery was something I had always wanted and always needed. More importantly, always needed. It never would have happened if I was using. And, I remember I said it to myself one day that, I was going to die with this chest. And, I'd die before I got chest surgery. And that made me so depressed just thinking of that alone. And because not even the mental toll that it takes on me having that chest, but I was wearing a binder every single day. When I was first transitioning, I was actually taping my chest down until I met my friend Jace. And binding your chest is really bad for you after a while. I did it for years. 6 years I did it, binding my chest. And I'm pretty positive it did permanent damage to my back. And it's very painful after a while, and it's very hot. Like in the summer, it's no joke. And so the day I got chest surgery was one of the happiest days of my life. I literally can't put it into words. I was so happy. I literally couldn't believe it. And I'm so grateful. Man, I'm so grateful for everyone that believed in me and believed that I was worth something. Man, things get better. They really do. They really do. And I think that's what we need to focus on when we're talking about addiction. I think that too often people are focused on, the whole discussion of whether addiction is a choice or it's a disease. And you know what? I'm not even gonna share my views on it, because you know what? I don't see how that even matters anymore, to be completely honest with everyone. I think that what we need to focus on now is we need to talk about how we can make these addicts feel like they're worth it, so that they feel like it's worth trying to get clean and staying clean. I see so much hate, especially on social media. Some of the things I've seen people say, people go as far as saying, if you stick a needle in your arm, you deserve it. You deserve to die. And, that's someone's daughter you're talking about. That's someone's aunt, someone's mom, someone's sister, this can happen to anybody. It's not a moral issue. And I think that we need to start talking about how to help these people. And how to just make them feel worth it. Come together as a community and really try to get through to these people and really try to educate people on addiction, because I think now more than ever people are starting to realize that it's not a moral issue and that it can happen to anybody, anywhere. It doesn't matter where you live. You don't have to be living in the Point in Salem to, come across heroin. It's everywhere now. It's in the really nice parts of your town. It's, in the really poor parts of your town. It's everywhere. It's in schools. And it's killing so many people, more people than car accidents at this point, which is insane. So I'm gonna wrap this up. I thank you guys so much for listening, for sharing. It's really humbling. It really is. I've gotten, just from that one video alone, almost 400 views, and that's amazing to me. I really can't thank you guys enough. I really hope that my story helps somebody, whether they're an addict, whether they're a family member of an addict, I want to help. I want to help any way I can. And, you can't help someone until they want to help themselves. And I understand that more than anybody, but I think that maybe showing more success stories rather than overdoses, maybe, it could change someone's life. Maybe that kid sitting in school thinking he wants to go out and party and and try new drugs and do whatever, maybe it'll change his mind hearing what I went through. And I'm not gonna lie, drugs, yeah, they're fun. Drugs are fun at first, and then real life comes around, and all those friends that you had, that you were partying with and doing whatever with, they're nowhere to be found, and you're broke and you're homeless, and you are eating out of the dumpster, and that's that's it. You're alone. Drugs will take everything away from you, everything you ever cared about, everything you ever loved. And just think about your moms. I go to all these funerals and I see these mothers, and all I can think about is my mom, and how much I hurt her, and how worried I made her every single day. What I put her through, and if I could take it all back, I would. I really would. But that's not the way that life works. And all any of us can do is, from this point forward, just try to be better than we were. And that's all I try to do, man. Every day I just try to be a little bit better, and I don't use. Most importantly, I don't use ever again. Thanks a lot, guys. I appreciate it. Till next time. Peace.